What if I told you that if it took 1 year of literally embracing the suck to get to your goals, your wants, and your desires, would it be something that you would be willing to put up with? This is the Gastric Life Podcast, and I'm your host, James Pugh. Pew, 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 pew. What's up? First off, let me talk about the elephant in the room, which is the new glass on this camera right here. I got a new lens, and I gotta say, it looks pretty good. I mean, I'm looking nice and crisp and drippy. I mean, you can tell I barely did my hair. It's such a good lens. Like usually if I just throw some water in my hair, it looks like I did my hair, but unfortunately I didn't. Been busy today. See, what happened was my guy that does my yard, he called out on me. Something about camping, spending time with family and stuff like that. I almost fired him, but I decided not to. So I got out here and did it myself. It took a whole 30 minutes. I almost died. No, it wasn't that bad. But what's going on, guys? Let me know what you're watching out of. If you're watching live on Facebook, as always, if you're listening to one of the other podcasts or you're just listening to it on one of the major platforms, I am live on Facebook. Just search me on Facebook, James Pugh, P-U-G-H, and you'll find me, and you can come over here, talk trash about how I look, what I look, or have a conversation with me because I always do Q&A right after the podcast following. Now, with all that being said, let me do my quick disclaimer for everybody. I'm not a doctor. I am not a physician. I'm not a coach of any style yet, but I have had experience in the whole physical and health tour and journey and all that good stuff. So I am literally just giving you my thoughts. Always check with your physician before you take anything I say to the bank, because at the end of the day, I am human and you and I are different. Different things work for different people. So yeah, I got to cover myself. LLC over here. Anyways, what's going on, guys? Hopefully y'all had an amazing weekend, have an amazing couple weeks. I just came literally back from a awesome vacation. I went to Panama Beach, Florida, and before we went last weekend, and the hurricane came a few days prior to that, and everybody was worried that if the hotel we were staying at were actually condos. We went in style. We stayed at a condo, corner, wraparound balcony, beachside front view. Listen. I wanted a vacation. I wanted to enjoy my room. I haven't been on vacation in like 2.5 years, pretty much since COVID, pretty much. So I needed a vacation. So I went all out. I went ahead and got the big room, spent all the money, and it was amazing. We did split the room with somebody else, and we appreciate them for that as well. But yeah, we had an issue where we didn't know if the hurricane was going to take out the hotel, if it was going to flood, what the thing was going to be. So I called the insurance that we had bought insurance through, and they pretty much said, well, as long as the building's still standing and it's open, you don't get your money back. So we were going to go regardless of the outcome. If that hotel was open, we were going to be there. We were going to be ready to go. So we did go, and it ended up being not bad. Everything was great. It actually wasn't even that busy, surprisingly. Even the staff there, when we checked in and stuff, I assumed it was going to be a lot busier. They even made jokes on the phone with me when I booked and paid everything off and stuff. I mean, I asked them how busy it was going to be that weekend. They all laughed at me. But it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. We had a great time, and we definitely enjoyed it. Don't ask me how I ate. I ate like crap, to be 100% honest with everybody. It was pretty bad, to be 100%. It wasn't like bad where I just overate. I just ate bad food. You're on vacation and you're not cooking really. We cooked one night, did some steaks and stuff, had some good protein that night, but everything else we went to was definitely not good. Now, I will throw out there, we went to a place called, I don't want to say their name because I'm gonna trash them a little bit. We went to a seafood place. And me and my wife, we shared a platter. It was like the trio fresh seafood platter and stuff. It thing was $90. I didn't realize it until we got our bill. But the shrimp weren't clean. It had the pooch sacks in them. disgusting. I left a review. Said, hey, if I'm spending $90 on a plate of food, the least you can do is clean my freaking shrimp so I'm not eating poop. Because after the poop is boiled and stuff and steamed, the poop sacks explode when you try to take them out. So you just poop all over your shrimp. It's disgusting. I didn't eat none of it. Wasted of $90. Other the crabs were good though. My wife said the flavor of the crab was good. Sausage was good too. But clean your shrimp. Like really, come on. Okay, so today we're talking about embracing the suck. And this is something I wanted to talk about because I feel like a lot of times in life, when it comes to health or really anything in life, we forget that we have to go through some suck to get to where we want to be. We have to go through certain things that we are not going to like, that aren't going to feel good, that are going to make us want to quit and this, that, and the other, that, you know, it's just going to make us give up and not want to do it and not embrace it. And I think sometimes we're so comfortable with life that this is the reason why we don't get healthy. This is the reason why we don't follow our goals, our dreams, and eventually be where we're at, because we don't want to be uncomfortable. We don't want to feel that uncomfort in our life. So I want to talk to you about that today. And I'm going to use me as an example and content creation as an example, and then tie it all together, of course, with health, because I've had to embrace the suck with this content thing. Trust me. Let me do my non-sponsor. Sponsor me, please. C4. Regardless of what you're going for in life, regardless of what you're trying to accomplish in life, especially when it comes to health, there are going to be some suck moments in that journey. Like, if anybody tells you that it's going to be easy, if anybody tells you that if you get the surgery, you're good to go, and they think, you know, it's just going to be easy, it's a complete lie. They're selling you, you know, they're trying to sell you something that you don't need to be sold. And I'm here to tell you that there are moments that suck with health. Example, when I started content creation, I had this thing come up where I had to make a decision. There were certain things that I like to do. There were certain things that I enjoyed doing that I knew I wasn't going to be able to do anymore, or not be able to do like I wanted to. One of them was playing my video games. Like, it's crazy to me that I make content around gaming, you know, not here, but, you know, my main stuff I do. And I literally don't play a game very much. I play once or twice a week, maybe. And normally it's the test stuff because I'm so busy with content, period. I don't have no free time to myself. My friends will tell you that I don't see or talk. Well, I talk to them if we talk and stuff through text or over the phone, but I don't see them. I got friends I haven't seen in years now because of the content thing. And I'm not telling you that necessarily everything I'm doing there is the right way of doing it, but I've learned that I have to give certain things up for short periods. Now, I'm not, again, don't take this as I'm saying I need to give up my friends or I need to give up this, that, and the other, but there are going to be certain things like playing a video game that I have to be okay with giving up at this point in my life, trying to build something better for later on, because once I get through this suck period, I'll be able to do the things that I really want to do, which is play the game, which are hanging out with my friends, which are doing this. And the reason why I bring this up is because I posed this question to my wife. And the question was this: if I told you in 5 years, this is literally how I worded it to her, if I told you in 5 years I would be a full-time content creator, I would own my own business, I would make just as much or more than driving a truck, and we can do whatever we want when we want because I'm my own boss, would you be okay with me putting 5 years into it? She said yes. She says, if you really think you can achieve that, then 100%, I think it's worth it. So what I'm asking you today is the same thing, not a 5-year thing, but I'm asking you from a health standpoint, if you could eat, if I told you eating right, exercising, and making the right decisions for 1 year will get you where you want to be, or at least in the general direction of where you want to be, you would feel much better about yourself. You would feel much better about your weight. You would look and perform better as a human being overall. And you would just be a happier person because your health is better. Would you embrace the suck for a year? Majority of people, I would assume, would say yes. But it's easier said than done, right? It is. It's literally easier said than done when you do this type of thing. Not always when you do this type of thing, you get the privilege or the opportunity just to make it easy, right? Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes you're going to have things that come up that are make it hard and make you want to quit. And I want to give you some of those things. But the reason why I tell you that story, the reason why I kind of put that out there is because if you can mentally prepare yourself for the suck to come in that next year, or for me, the next 5 years, it's easier to manage when it does come. It's easier to know and see it coming from a mile off and say, well, this is that suck part I was talking about. I got to embrace that so I can get to my goals, my dreams, and my wants a year, 2 or 3, 4, 5, how many, whatever your goal is down the road. I have to embrace it now. If you will do that before you actually start the journey, before you actually start the process, mentally speaking, it's going to be easier. Physically speaking, it's going to be easier. And it's just going to be a little bit not as tough anyways. What's going on, Trey? Trey is here. He's saying, what's up? Again, if you guys want to see me live, always pop into the Facebook, James Pugh, and come say hi every other Tuesday at 2 p.m. So the very first thing I want to talk to you about is it going to be hard to embrace the suck? Yeah. Yeah. Embracing the suck is never easy. Embracing the suck will never be easy. If anybody tells you that, again, they are lying to you. This is why it's called embracing the suck. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not sugarcoating anything when I talk about it. It's literally, it sucks. Why? Because there's going to be bad habits that you've been doing. And, you know, we talk about these things almost in all the different podcasts, it seems like, but they always come back up because it's always a circle. You know, what's that movie? The guy on doing the, you know, in the wedding thing. Life is a circle. It goes around. There's no edges on the circle. Anyways, going off subject there. But my point is, you're going to have bad habits that are going to make it hard to embrace the suck, because there are going to be habits that pop up to where you're used to doing, and it's going to try to take over. But this is that part where I said before, if you mentally prepare, that's going to suck. If you mentally set yourself up for success during the process, then it will be a little bit easier during the process to say that bad habit you can push to the side. Because if not, if you haven't mentally prepared yourself, it's easy to slip back into bad habits. Remember last time we talked about how it's easier to be pulled down into bad habits than being brought back up into good habits, because you've been down into bad habits for so long. You can't expect you to change overnight, but if you hang out in these bad habits constantly and not embrace the suck and then get mentally prepared for the suck to come about those bad habits, then it's going to be harder to beat. So yes, it's going to suck trying to beat those bad habits. It's going to suck embracing the suck. The play on word here is crazy. But I think that if you can literally prepare yourself for it and understand that habits are hard to break and that you're not going to do it overnight. And that's why it sucks, right? That's why this sucks. That's why when you're going through this process, it sucks. And it's such an old but true saying. Anything worth getting is hard to get. Anything worth having is hard to get, because there's so many things that are between you and what you want that are obstacles. I like to call them Goliaths, right? And you have to be the David with the rock in your hand and you got to throw a rock every time you come up to one of those Goliaths. It's not going to be easy. Sometimes it's going to be intimidating seeing a giant stand before you. And a lot of times it's easier to give up and quit instead of embracing the suck. But if you put your why in your head and remember what's on the other side of that Goliath, why you're fighting it, why you're standing there, why you're confronting it, then embracing the suck will be much easier. Getting that why in your head and mentally preparing yourself for what is to come. Bad habits will eventually fall. The suck will eventually get easier, and you'll eventually be where you want to be. So number one was embracing the suck. Is it hard? Yes. Will it suck at times? Yes. Will embracing the suck at times? 100% without a shadow of a doubt, it's definitely going to suck. And let me explain why. You have friends. Especially when it comes to health. I remember when I first started getting healthy, the hardest part of getting healthy was being around other people while they ate. And they knew how I ate. And there were things that I couldn't accomplish or get to because I would fall into the trap of old habits with my friends. Example A would be going to a wing place and saying, I'm going to order 6 wings to myself before surgery, right? I'm already trying to prepare, mentally get ready, embracing the suck. No one of my friends are going to order like 15 wings. And they do. And they all order before me. Well, what happens? Every other guy at the table ordered 15 wings. Do you think that James is about to order 6 wings when every other man at the table just ordered 15 wings and make me look bad? That's what I was thinking anyways. Would they have cared if I ordered 6 wings? Absolutely not. But my old habits, the way I've been for my entire life, my competitiveness, get that word out right, started coming through. And instead of me embracing the suck, I allowed myself to be tripped up, stumble, and give in to the suck. I have been used to eating that way and doing those types of things my entire life. So when it came to doing it, it was a lot harder for me because of the circumstances and my habits and the people are around. Another example would be football. We have football games and stuff here. We get together, we eat. We have all kind of munchy food. We have all kind of stuff sitting around and stuff. And I'm used to doing those types of things. So for me to get healthy, to accomplish my 1-year goal of health, I have to embrace the fact that I'm not going to be happy. I have to mentally prepare myself that might not be happy in this moment. I might be hungry in this moment. I might really want some more chips and dip in this moment. But the Goliath standing before me, we're going to use that the rest of the podcast probably because it's a great analogy, is standing in front of what I want to see. And I'm just going to hold my hand above front of my camera for people on YouTube and live on Facebook. You can't see what's on the other side of it because there's a Goliath standing in your way. But as soon as you slay it and bring it down, you're going to see your goal again. And as long as your goal is in your mind when you started doing it, when you started fighting it, when you went into the battle, you mentally prepared yourself to embrace it, then it's easier to fight. Do you see how it all comes together and molds together and allows you to get to those places in your life? And, guys, I talk about health over here all the time, but I also talk about life in general. You can literally take this analogy, this what I'm talking about today, and literally place it before you in life with your work goals or what you want to accomplish as a husband, a father, a mother, a daughter, a son, whatever the case may be, and do the same exact thing and realize that you can be where you want to be or have what you want to have in a very short amount of time compared to your lifespan if you would just embrace the suck. And that's what you got to do. Will you want to give up? If you didn't, I would be asking, are you really struggling? Like, are you really embracing the suck? Because I know for me, especially with content and stuff, I want to give up all the time. I get so sick and tired of working. I get so sick and tired of having to give up the things that I want to do, the things that I, would enjoy doing. Like, let's be real for a second. I would much rather be sitting over there on my beautiful couch watching NFL Red Zone than standing here and trying to say a podcast that I hope is helping people. Now, don't get me wrong. I enjoy the podcast, but I enjoy football. I love football. And, these are things I'm decided to give up to accomplish my Goliath, holding the hand in front of the camera again for people on audio, so I can get to you on the other side of the camera, hopefully, by slaying my Goliaths and helping you out in your life goals and journeys, especially when it comes to health. Too many times, people don't stick to it and they give up too soon, and your victory was right there on the other side of the Goliath. When you want to give up, it's normally because of your norm. And what I mean is, it's normally because of how long your bad habits have been in play. You will want to give up because, one, it's easier. Two, it's simpler. Especially when it comes to health. Do I want to get up and go and work out every single day? Or do I want to get up and just do my day? I mean, there are people out there that love to work out. I'm not one of them. I hate it. I haven't been working out, to be 100% transparent. Not because I don't want to, but it's honestly just because I've been super busy. It's been a hectic couple of weeks where I'm like looking at my screen. It looks like my quality's dropping a little bit on the stream side. But I've just been super busy, and I just haven't had time and stuff. But if I keep see, when I talk about these things, I always everybody's like, "Oh, you're speaking truth, and you're talking about things I'm struggling with." That's because of the things I'm struggling with at the end of the day. I get on here and talk about what I struggle with, because normally we all struggle with the same thing. Peter said it best himself, that there's nothing in the world that someone else isn't going through. So if I'm going through it 10 times out of 10, someone else is going through it. I've been through it themselves. So if I just talk about myself, it's easier to connect with you guys and gals and people, or whatever you call yourself. It's 2023. Don't get canceled, James. But yeah, I just, it's easier to give up because of the norm. I worked out when I was a teenager up till about 17. Then from 18 to 34, 33, 32, somewhere around there, I didn't work out really at all. Literally every now and then, here and there, but I always give up and quit because it was easier and normal for me not to work out. But I need to remember, and this is why this is why I was talking about mentally preparing yourself. Why am I trying to work out? What is my why for trying to work out? What is my why for hitting these weights? What is my why for doing it? Is my why strong enough? Remember we talked about our whys being strong enough? Is your why strong enough? I don't want loose skin. When I sit down, I am, very self-conscious about the way I look. I'm standing up, I don't feel very self-conscious because my skin hangs and it makes me look flat and stuff. But when I sit, the skin definitely balls up down there by the bottom of my stomach. And it does. It makes me feel self-conscious. I mean, does anybody that's lost a lot of weight know what I'm saying right now? Do you hear me? Do you feel the same way I feel? Maybe you've gained some weight. And you're like, yeah, I know exactly how you feel. I'm going the opposite direction. I need to go the opposite direction. I was told I should probably gain about 20 pounds. I just don't want to. I don't want to. Not sponsored. Please sponsor me. I'm going to keep saying that until they sponsor me. But you will want to give up. You will want to go back to your normal habits. And you will, if you don't prepare for it, know what you're fighting for, actually fight for it. Remember what I said last week, guys. Don't listen to what I say or what, I'm talking about and be like, man, that was good. And then not do nothing about it. Put something forth. I don't want this to be an empty podcast. I'm talking about myself too. I don't want to get up here and every other week and spend an hour, probably less today, talking and putting forth a plan and getting things together and then not doing anything about it. Because at the end of the day, it's just a waste of time. And I don't want to waste my time. My time is very valuable to me as I talk to myself again. Like, I'm not telling you guys, I'm telling myself because I know I need to start working out again. I just have to literally embrace the suck, figure out when to do it, and just say, hey, I'm going to do it. End of discussion. So I'll do it starting tomorrow. I'm going to get up. Nope. See my wife. My wife has an appointment I have to go to. I got a life group tomorrow. So starting Tuesday, my goal is to work out 3 times a week. So Tuesday will be my first day this week I work out. Boom. It's in the books. I'm embracing the suck. No ands, ifs, or buts about it. I'm going to get up and do what I need to do. Hopefully. No, we're definitely going to work out. All right. So my question for you today, wrapping this up, put a little bow on it and stuff before I talk to chat for a few minutes, is are you embracing the suck? Are you mentally prepared yourself for the suck? Have you gone into surgery and maybe thought that surgery was the answer to your suck issue, and you've really come fastly to find out that the surgery was not the all to fix everything? Because a lot of people think, and especially a lot of people who haven't had surgery, think that the surgery is what fixes it. Like, oh, you lose all the weight because of the surgery. You lose weight because of the surgery, but the weight doesn't stay off because of the surgery. You can gain the weight back very, very fast. And if you haven't learned to deal with your habits, to mentally prepare yourself and be ready for the suck when it comes your way, because just because you had the surgery doesn't mean that the things are not going to suck when they come your way, because your habits are still there. They're still dormant and they're ready to peek their ugly head out from around the corner. Again, you could put this literally on anything in life, not just health. But if that's you today, what I want you to do is figure out what your why is. Remember that. So when you're facing your Goliath, you can still see around the corner. Just be like, yeah, it's still there. That's what I'm going for right there. I'm trying to get over to Goliath. You know what I mean? Like, you need to have it at the forefront of your thoughts. Literally, if you have to write it down, stick it on a monitor, make it your background saver for your phone, whatever the case may be, to continue on your why. So after surgery, when the suck starts to peek its rear ugly head up, you can be like, James talked about that. Yes, this sucks. I want to go out and party with my friends and drink. I want to go out and eat 16 dozen Twinkies or Hot and Fresh. I don't think I've had a podcast where I haven't mentioned Hot and Fresh. So I had to mention it right there. I think Hot and Fresh is like my joke now. Then I want you to do that. I want you to literally have a game plan. I want you to really embrace the suck, and I want you to really think about your why at the end of this. If you got the surgery to lose weight, everybody gets the surgery. Okay. Majority of the people get the surgery to lose weight. I know there is a handful of people get the surgery because of health issues. I'm not talking to you necessarily. The people I'm talking to right now are the people that get in the surgery to lose weight. Is it wrong for me to say that if you got the surgery to lose weight, you probably wanted to look good? Like when I say that, I'm not saying you look bad. I'm thinking, because I'm thinking how I thought, you think yourself looks bad. And you think if you lose the weight, you will feel better about yourself because when you look in the mirror, you will see a different person. Am I making sense when I say that? Because I know for me, I didn't like what I saw in the mirror. I didn't like what I saw driving down the road in a semi-truck. I didn't like how I felt getting up out of a chair. I didn't like how I slept at night or during the day because I work at nights. So when I got the surgery, yeah, it was to lose the weight, of course. But that was literally just one thing of a long list of things that I wanted to accomplish because of the surgery. And because I learned how to embrace the suck, one thing after another started happening. I said it last week. You can get the surgery and lose weight. It's literally impossible not to lose weight right after surgery because you're coming out of surgery with a thumb-sized stomach. But if you don't have the willpower or if you don't have the habits under control, you're going to eventually go right back to where you were. And all that hard work, that surgery, the hurt and pain you went through it's all going to be for nothing because you literally are going to gain the weight back. You literally are going to fall back into old habits and you're literally going to feel about the same way you felt about yourself before going into surgery. And I literally had a conversation, literally had a conversation in the mirror last week saying I would not go back there. I absolutely refuse to go back to where I felt like I was ugly, overweight, and unworthy of life itself. I literally got a second chance by God Almighty himself by allowing me to get this surgery, by opening my eyes to the surgery. Because remember, before I had the surgery, I thought it wasn't a good thing. Now that I've had it, now that I've done all my research, now that I understand it completely, it's a great thing. But I had that conversation with myself last week. Now, last podcast, I talked about how we had to step back and examine ourselves and this, that. It was just kind of like what I was doing and realized when I was on vacation and stuff, I was a little out of control. Not like overeating, but I just ate crap. And I was like, no, we're not going to keep going down that road. Even though I had a honey bun a cinnamon roll. It was a pumpkin cinnamon roll before I got on the podcast today. It was pretty good too. As I burped it up. But again, you guys know how I feel about that. I don't tell you can't have anything. I just tell you got to have it in quantities and then understand that you shouldn't be eating every single day. Unless you have a real issue with it, and then maybe you should stay away from it. Maybe I should stay away from hot and fresh. So I don't go to hot and fresh very often because I go in one donut and walk out with 12. But anyways, this is a shorter podcast. I'll be 100%. When I started writing this podcast out, I had so much to say, but then I went on vacation and forgot about it. That's my fault. I should have written everything down. I had so much to say, but it's all good. We are going to talk about next time. I'll give you a little hint because I already kind of know where I want to go with this, is checklist before surgery. I want to talk about before surgery. There have been several people that have reached out to me through messaging and stuff, asking about the surgery, having a bunch of questions about the surgery. So I thought I would put together a list of things that you need to do before surgery. I remember I gave y'all a hint last podcast, which was we were going to talk about not losing weight before surgery, but instead of focusing on your habits. Again, because if you focus on your habits, you're going to lose weight anyways. So with all that being said, If you're looking for ways to support me by liking and sharing the video, of course. Also by leaving me a review if you're over on Apple, one of the major platforms that does that. Or if Patreon is up, I do plan on getting that up and doing a lot of the things over there with you guys eventually. You can also check that out if it's there. It will be linked below for you guys. As always, I love each and every single one of you guys. Never give up, never surrender. I'll see you guys in the next podcast. Pew out. Yeah, and that's the thing too, right? Like, I mean, that I could use towards health completely, because what happens is when we fail at our goals, those thoughts do come into our head where we go, I'm not going to be able to do it. This is why I'm never getting healthy. This is why I never lose the weight. What's the point of continuing on? What's the point of continuing to even try? I might as well just do what I've been doing, because at least if I just keep eating unhealthy and staying fat, I can't fail at that, because it's easy not to fail at it, because I can just do what I want when I want. But when you continue to push, when you continue to drive and not allow those negative thoughts to have domain over your head while embracing the suck, because you've mentally prepared yourself for it, then you can understand that, hey, I might not have succeeded this time around, but I dang sure did a lot better than I thought I was ever going to do. And now I know next time around, I'll just do a little bit better. 1% better every time. See, I can cut that up and put that in the podcast too. Bad habits, are those easier than doing good habits? Bad habits are always... It's actually a really good question. I usually do Q&A at the end, but I'll answer your question since you're the only one here right this second. I think that bad habits are easier to do than good habits. The reason being is because majority of us do those bad habits for majority of our lives. So if you're, say, 26 years old and you've been doing a bad habit for 20 years of your 26 years, it's going to be harder to start a good habit in place of that bad habit, because you've been doing the bad habit for 20 years. You're not, you know what I mean? So it's a lot easier doing bad habits, in my opinion. Not to say you can't overcome those bad habits over time, but I don't think you'll overcome them overnight. I don't think you'll overcome them in a week. I don't even think you'll overcome them in years. I do think you can continuously get better. 1% rule better is what I like to talk about here on the podcast, which is get 1% better than you were last time you failed. You failed at a bad habit you were trying to kick. Maybe it was smoking. Maybe you went a week without smoking. You had a cigarette, right? Well, maybe you can go a week and 2 days next time without smoking. You just got a little bit better. And then the following time you try again, you go a week and 3 days or a week and 4 days. And eventually you just keep doing that and keep adding it up, and don't beat yourself up because you failed, right? Because like I said, bad habits are hard to break when you've been doing most of your life. Eventually you'll get that 1% better rule. You'll keep adding it up. You'll be 100% better. Basic math.